हेलो दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है कोड विस्तार बाय सी चैनल में। ये वीडियो में हम लोग हैश मैप के बारे में पढ़ेंगे। हम लोग इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस कवर करेंगे रिलेटेड टू हैश मैप्स। सो ऑल द इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस मैं अटैच कर दूंगा पीडीएफ इन द वीडियो डिस्क्रिप्शंस। ओके, एंड आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चंस मैं ये वीडियो में कवर करने वाला हूँ, तो स्टे ट्यून टिल एंड ऑफ द वीडियो। सो वन बाय वन हम लोग कंसेप्ट वाइज हम लोग सीखेंगे। अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आया तो लाइक कीजिएगा, शेयर कीजिएगा एंड ज़रूर चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। ऐसे वीडियो मैं लाते रहूँगा। तो शुरुआत करते हैं। व्हाट इज़ हैशिंग? सो हैश मैप, सो दो वर्ड एक साथ जुड़ के ये वर्ड बना है, राइट? हैश मैप, सो हैश एंड मैप। मैप इज़ नथिंग बट की एंड वैल्यू पेयर. So hash is based on hashing algorithm. So it does the hashing of key and it decides which bucket it needs to go. So for example, हम लोग एक लाइब्रेरी का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. Let's say we have a shelf and bookshelves are numbered from 0 to 15. Now we have a number of books. Let's say we have 1000 books. अभी हम लोग ने 1000 बुक रैंडमली अगर स्प्रेड कर दिया हर एक शेल्फ में, देन प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा हम लोग देखते हैं. अभी इफ़ आई वांट सम पर्टिकुलर बुक, लेट्स से 1000 में से एक यूनिक बुक मुझे चाहिए, तो आई विल हैव टू आइटरेट थ्रू 0 to 15. ईच शेल्फ मुझे ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि ये शेल्फ में है क्या नहीं है, ये शेल्फ में है क्या नहीं है, ये शेल्फ में है क्या नहीं है. तो रैंडमली की तरफ भी डाला होगा तो मेरे को समझो 10th वाले शेल्फ में मिल गया. बट द वर्स्ट केस इज द बुक इज इन 15th shelf and each time I will have to iterate through each and every shelf to see if that particular book is there. So अभी लाइब्रेरी में कोई भी कस्टमर आने के बाद अगर उसको बुक चाहिए, पर्टिकुलर बुक चाहिए, तो उसको एक बुक सर्च करने में बहुत सारा टाइम जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. नाउ व्हाट to solve this problem, what we will do is we will use the hashing algorithm. Let's say this is a black box. Okay, black box means this algorithm can be any algorithm which you provide the input and it gives you the output. Okay, so in terms of hash map एक ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास के अंदर हैश कोड फंक्शन रहता है. ओके, हैश कोड मेथड रहता है विच आवर कस्टम क्लास और एनी अदर क्लास कैन ओवरराइड to provide this functionality. Now let's say example. Okay, now my book name is, let's say, like Atomic Habits. Okay, so now my object is this book Atomic Habits. This has some other information also, and using that information as input to this function, and it will decide the hash code. So what is hash code? Hash code in terms of the hash map is any integer which will be always constant. That means for a particular input our output is always same. Okay, so for Atomic Habits, if I get integer something like this, 1 2 4 6 7 8 9. Okay, so hashing is nothing but converting your input to output. Okay, and after that hash code it converts into the buckets. So let's say after I get this integer, if I module percentage by 15, I will get the bucket, right? If I divide it and a reminder of 15, then I will get the bucket number. Now, this is hashing. So there are three steps in terms of hash map. So one is the use of hash code, which will give you an integer. Now, second is to spread the bits inside hashmap class. There is a method which mixes this integer into something which spreads the bit so that it evenly distributes the data between the available buckets. Applies the internal algorithm, we can see. This is something internal algorithm. Now third is deciding the final bucket. So it does calculate the key and multiply by number of buckets. So in terms of our shelf example, the number of bucket is 50. So it will multiply by 15. So it will give you the output in which the book should go. So now after I insert the atomic habits into the 10th row, after say some days, if someone comes, I want atomic habits and issue the book atomic habits. Now I will provide the same book to the hashing function and it will go through this process and it will tell which bucket. Yeah, 10th bucket. So my output is consistent and it will provide the 10th bucket. Now I can go directly to the 10th shelf or bucket and get this book. Make sense? So my searching operation is very much improved in this case. Now second question. How does the hashcode method do? Hashcode returns hashcode method working. So hashcode method, where it resides, there is an object class. Now if I am writing something custom object, let's say book or let's say employee, and I am using this particular object as a key to the hash map, then I will need to override the hash code. Why I am saying, okay, if you don't override the hash code and equals method for the custom object, I will tell you. Now object.hashcode is based on the memory address. So two objects with the same data will have the different hash code. Okay, and duplicate logical data gets stored. Hashmap can't identify the duplicates. Collisions may increase. Okay, so now in case of custom objects, we need to override the hashcode method. If we don't override it, the by default object class hash method will get called, which is based on the memory address. Let's, in our example, our book example, so book has the name of the book and some ID we can give and publications and the author of the book. Now based on this data, I can provide some function which identifies what is my hash code for a particular book, which will give you a consistent object for a particular consistent output for a particular object. Okay, that makes sense. If I don't overwrite it, then my object dot hash code will get called. So next question is, does not overriding the hash code method increases the collision? Okay, so let's say what my question is, next interview question is, what is collision? Okay, what is collision? What is collision? So by the word you will get to know that collision is nothing but, so my objects are spread across the shelf 0 to 15. Now I have number of books as 1000. Now if I equally decide to distribute, then each will contain like 90 to 100 books. Now again within the shelf, each shelf I will have to iterate through at least 100 books. Perfect. Now this is a type of collision. Now within the shelf, within the bucket or within the shelf, there are a number of books that I will have to iterate one by one to see if that particular book is being searched is my object. Correct? So this is the collision. Now let's say another example of collision. There is another interview question based on the collision. Let's say 0 to 15. Now for my custom class employee, I have written the hash code method and I have overridden it my employee object, and from here I am returning something like this, uh, always one. Okay, so another interview question is, what if my hash code is returning always one? Now from my hash code method, if returning the integer as always one, then 1 moduli by 15, it always give me some constant number, right? So it will give me always 1. So now my employee will always go to the first bucket. So I insert employee 1, it will go to first bucket. Insert employee 2, it will go to the first bucket. Now what is the use of this bucket, right? And also it will act like the array. If you see this, my utilization of other buckets are empty. So this is collision. If I have written some hash code which is returning the data which is constant, then I will get always the some random bucket. Okay, random bucket, and which is always the one value, and on that particular bucket, if my data is going always to that bucket, then this is the collision. Then why collision should be avoided? Because Hashmap is designed for the searching. Let's say this employee 2 is going to the bucket 15. Now providing the hash code method for employee 1, I get to the bucket 1 and I will get employee 1 here itself. Now employee 2, I will get 15, I will get from the 15 here itself. But what if there are 100 employee on in the single bucket? Then there is no use, right? I will have to iterate through each bucket till 100 to see that my particular employee record has been fetched correctly. Okay, let's say another example of collision. Let's say I have red color balls, green color balls, and black color balls. I have three buckets. Okay, and this is mix of, and I randomly put here, I put all the three balls, all the three colors balls, all the three colors balls, right? Now if someone tell me pick up black ball from all the buckets, okay, now I will have to go to each bucket and get the black balls, okay. But what if while inserting into the buckets, if I put the red color balls here, green color balls here, and black color balls here, then the searching operation will increase, right? So now if someone tell me, then I can go to the third bucket itself and I can get all the black balls from here itself. My searching operation will improve, right? So coming back to the collision, so collision is something which contradicts the use of the hash map. So for a particular bucket, if my object is going to that particular bucket only and there are multiple collisions, then this is not efficient for searching. It acts like the array. So within bucket, how does it work? So within bucket, it actually uses the equals method. So hash code and equals. Now coming back to my, what is collision? So collision is nothing but for a particular bucket, my data is going for the poor implementation of hash code method. And what if my hash code is returning one, then it always go to the one bucket and data will be stored as a array, and that will achieve the poor complexity. And what is my complexity in this case? So if I have a number of element as n, then my time complexity will be O of n in this case. And if the hash code is providing you a perfect and my data is spread across the buckets, then my best time complexity is O of 1, then no number complexity. So O of n means what number of elements I have to iterate each time, and O of 1 means if I am going to particular bucket and picking that object straightforward, okay, then my searching operation is efficiency is improved.